Так, всем привет, мы продолжаем проходить Disco Elysium, мы близки к финалу, он может наступить в любой момент. Мы на небольшом таком отдалении от основных мест, основных локаций игры. Это остров. Тут есть у меня две развилки, я могу пойти в одну сторону и в другую. Давай, наверное, туда сначала пойдем. Вот буквально 5 минут назад я спал. Но я заставил себя встать, прежде чем лечь спать. Ну, то есть я уснул, прежде чем лечь спать по-нормальному. Но решил встать, чтобы поиграть. А уже потом лечь спать по-нормальному. Поэтому речь будет... Ну, в принципе, как всегда, да. Хотел сказать, речь будет не связанная и невнятная, но, в принципе, что это меняет? Итак, возможно, здесь прячется, собственно, убийца. Резиновая лодка, сдута, порвана. У меня есть 3 очка опыта, у меня есть 2 неопробованные мысли. Ну, я бы не рисковал, на самом деле, использовать эти очки для мыслей, потому что в любой момент мне может понадобиться внутри диалога прокачать какой-то из навыков, чтобы не залажать проверку. Как это уже бывало. Всюду видны небольшие белые цветочки. А как мне вот туда вот... 2 места каких-то, которые я заприметил, но... Непонятно, откуда они становятся активными. Явно не отсюда. То есть вот я сейчас пытаюсь вниз идти, но вниз, там где трава, пройти не могу. Пытаюсь нащупать проход. Может быть, куда-то вот, где он не виден за камерой, но... Точнее, вот за колонной этой. Не колонной, вот за этим строением. Но нет, видимо, там никакого прохода нет. Тут иногда такие есть проходы, которые вообще не видны. Стоп, вот этот вход в здание ведь. Вот это вход в здание, которое... который мы прошли. Не так ли? А вот тот момент... Не знаю, может, через другой проход я смогу его нащупать. В этом сладковатом воздухе есть что-то пугающее. Ого, стоп, тут человек. Это же не труп или это труп? Он как-то очень неподвижен. Нет, это просто человек. С ружьем. Да, вообще никуда нельзя пройти. Это наш убийца. Давай поговорим.
An old man wearing tracksuit trousers leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth, then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. Unclouded by cataracts, his eyesight is sharp.
Это явно наш пациент. Блин, это, я не знаю, просто после этого диалога, может быть, вообще все закончится, или мы автоматически переместимся. Такое возможно? Извини, что потревожил, бывает.
Fucking clowns.
I should have known they'd send the fucking clowns for me. You hear him mumble to the blackened logs. That was not the right move. You should have pushed on.
Что будет? Потому что, блядь, это убийца. Я хотел посмотреть, что там еще есть. Не надо мне говорить, что я был неправ. Это видеоигра, блин. Почему меня тут обсирают? Хотел посмотреть, что тут есть. Ну, блядь. Это вообще другое место. Амбразура. Заглянуть внутрь не получается. Ну, бля. Такой крупный кусок откололся. Должно быть прямое попадание. Издалека доносятся гудки грузовых судов. Сигналы эхом отражаются от воды. Мы тут были во сне. Я хотел посмотреть, что тут. Ты вздрагиваешь от сильной боли в паху и идешь дальше. Можно заглянуть внутрь крепости. Отсюда видна панель управления и взрывозащитную дверь. Если спрыгнуть, наверняка все кости переломаешь. Старый аптечный шкафчик, недавно пополненный чем-то там. Аромином. Потертая артиллерийская карта с координатами в заливе Ривашоля. Друамин. канистра с топливом. Но оно и так было.
There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab,
Вот отсюда и
only half
стреляли.
covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double embrasures, firing slits like two eyes in the wall.
Зато вот это, то, что я нашел это место, наверняка мне поможет в диалоге, может сыграть какие-то плюс-баллы. Что я нашел место, откуда он стрелял, но, блин, не знаю. Вот.
This looks like a good place to aim from.
Осмотреть матрас.
A single-person mattress, modern, civilian use. Brand name, Marjorie. There's a fuel stain on the cover, along with cigarette burns. And an empty can of beans on the ground next to it, filled to the brim with cigarette butts.
Вытащить окурок из банки.
The silhouette of a tobacco picker adorns the paper filter. The brand, Tio Morteri.
Наш стрелок заядлый курильщик.
Noted.
Осмотреть стену.
There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window.
Давай потрогаем.
Quite old and grimy from years without cleaning by anything other than the rain.
Посмотреть сквозь дыру.
The springs screech as you lean on the mattress and crane your neck to look out. A small piece of Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting. 1 kilometer across the water. The ruins look familiar.
Слева.
A towering skyscraper, its top floors shaved off by artillery fire. Capeside apartments. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A and 33B.
Справа.
The red chimney and collapsed back of the 4-story tenement in front of the whirling in rags. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 10. The doomed commercial area.
А в центре.
The box-shaped silhouette of the whirling in rags. You see a small fleck of white on the rooftop, the upstairs window of Clausia's room, in the snow, reflecting light.
Вот оно.
Do you have a line of sight to the window?
More than that.
Ким, будь у меня бинокль, я мог бы заглянуть внутрь комнаты.
Whenever you wanted, like your own little dollhouse.
A pair of binoculars or a scope of a rifle? You'd be prone, lying on a mattress, barrel resting on the embrasure. I think we have it. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest.
Почему мы раньше сюда не пришли?
Why? We don't go everywhere in the 1,000-meter radius of the crime scene. That's not procedure.
7 человек погибли. Мы могли бы это предотвратить.
Don't beat yourself up, officer. We did not put guns in their hands or get them drunk.
The lieutenant pauses. Regret comes over him.
We will make up for it. Here. I feel it.
Окей, это важно было явно перед диалогом с этим типом прийти сюда.
There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab.
This looks like a good place to aim from.
Окей, ладно. Просто то, что мы пришли сюда перед диалогом с ним, это действительно важно, но надо было просто не начинать диалог. Тупанул. Ну, да, иногда ты жмешь, а он не хочет делать. Лебедка сломана, ржавчина разъела остатки цепи.
A strange feeling looking at the water. Maybe you should just wander off into the sea, leave it all, and walk in with a bottle in your hand.
С бутылкой в руке?
Always.
Зачем?
Perhaps there's someone there, under the water, waiting for you.
Да, спасибо, блин, внутреннее я, что пытаешься меня убить.
Where it has always been. Smelling of tutti frutti and betrayal. Baby, you know it's going to hurt.
Но там холодно.
Yes, cold and still. But love is warm, like the inside of her mouth.
Любовь дарит тепло? А, ну да, это да. Ну там любви-то нет. Нет.
Yes.
Поднять взгляд.
In the snowing mirror of the bay, you see Martinez reflected. Tall edifices of ruins reach into the water, like shimmering towers. And the shacks too. Pine trees and motor lorries, upside down. Islets and posts, like stepping stones, lead into the water in front of you. Go, step in. It's been too long.
Покачать головой. Да, вы меня, блин, пытаетесь... Я не могу... Или могу? Это, не могу зайти внутрь. Даже при всем желании, как бы. Не могу. А, вот сюда могу. Да. На побережье уже давно нет того склада, с которого прибыла эта цепь. Нет, в общем, тут некуда идти. Лед трещит у тебя под ногами, осторожно, не провались в воду. Ну все, тут ничего больше нет. Ладно, пойдем говорить с убийцей. Он с ружьем сидит, блин. Может быть, опять сейчас придется уворачиваться от его пуль. Давай сохранимся на всякий случай. На другой слот. Так.
The old man leans on the frame stock of his rifle, looking up at you.
Глаз у тебя по-прежнему острый.
My eyesight? Yes. Helps me see all the shit.
А еще отличная у тебя пушка.
It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it gets the job done.
Это Бельмограф?
It's a 3-Angong 446.
A Samuran rifle. How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Sinyao commune. Military aid.
Коммуна? Коммуна Синьяно?
You heard me. It's good now. Like chalk, white from the ball.
Это ты закрыла взрывозащитную дверь?
I did. And you opened it. How?
Да я не буду ему отвечать. Ну как я ее открыл, блин? Очевидно, как я ее открыл. Как ты узнал о моем приближении?
Reactionary rock and roll music. Playing on the water.
Told you we shouldn't play sad FM.
Это не рок-н-ролл, это грусть FM.
Sad FM, huh? I always hated that station. Phlegmatic, counter-revolutionary dirges. Sadness is a mental illness. A weapon of the bourgeoisie. The fascists were right about rock and roll. It is degenerate. Hip gyrating, mental illness music.
Жопокрутов. Положите-ка оружие, чтобы мы могли продолжить разговор. Приколись, если бы я был таким полицейским, который запинается, когда озвучивает это. Это явно... Не, на самом деле вот этот чувак, он явно так разговаривает. Положите оружие, чтобы мы могли продолжить разговор. Мы из полиции.
The lieutenant pulls his pistol from the holster.
You are a glorified night watchman. This is a service rifle. I can only lay it down before an enemy commander of corresponding rank.
Низкий шанс. Нужно было надавить сильнее. Как сильнее, блин? Там не было больше реплик. Теоретически я мог бы сейчас еще вкачать авторитет чуть-чуть. Потому что 28% это не так мало, в принципе. Ким?
The lieutenant aims his pistol square at the man's forehead.
Put it down now, sir.
Or you're gonna blow my brains out before you question me. To hell with it.
Надо
It's a
показать, кто
walking
здесь
stick
главный.
anyway. It's out of bullets.
Чё ж так держишься?
Like an amputated limb in the sand. He stares on, his wrinkled mouth moving without a sound. A strange sadness, like a song.
Что ты сказал?
The future teaches you to be alone.
The present.
Пусть закончит.
The present to be afraid and cold.
Эти слова... Не знаю, типа... Ну, блин, я не понял. Я не понял, чё эти слова «будущее учит быть одиноким».
Real music. Real Project Cult. That's La Revacholière, not your rock and roll misanthropy. Chanson de soldat of the black and whites.
You need to address that remark.
Да. Я не мизантроп, я полумертвый офицер полиции, просто выполняющий свою работу.
The job of a shitlicker.
И вообще, что такое La Revacholière?
It is the anthem of the world revolution. One of 3. In Grad, they sang brave children, favorites of history. And in Sinyao, it was... some Samaran shit, I guess.
Что там поется в песне?
How did it go? Something about shooting rabbits. I don't know. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. It's gone now.
Ну, а чё тогда? Разговор ни о чем. Вот вы слушаете свой меланхоличный рок-н-ролл, а вот мы слушали революционные бодрые песни. Поэтому мы были такие крутые, а вы... Вот что-то об этом, короче. Давай поднимем оружие.
His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stocked and patched in places with tape and wire.
Изучим внимательней.
The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm, made of walnut. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangon, 4.46mm, made in Sinyao.
Все верно, этот триангон сделано в Синьяо.
No one said it has to be a Belma grave. We were just guessing.
From ballistics, it could easily have been a triangle, too.
It doesn't matter if it was made in Shanti Shanti. All it has to do is use jacketed ammunition. And it does.
Да, винтовка под гильзовые патроны калибра 4,46 мм.
The right type and the right calibre.
He's liking this.
Окей, с винтовкой
The
покончено.
old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. His right arm twitches suddenly.
Воу, дед.
Some kind of involuntary response? Something is slightly off with his motorings.
Ты чё там это?
This looked very much like the murder weapon. It could be used against him to get a confession. In time.
Так, ты кто?
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender.
The commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the...
From the Insular Indian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in 07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orient. and consigned to emergency defense duties in '08. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the Commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties.
Так, еще раз.
"51 minus 8 equals 43.
То есть это тот революционер, который тут тусуется, потому что, типа, потому что на материке там уже все перевернулось, а он такой: я не хочу, я не передумал, я все еще революционер, да, но возвращаться, типа, если вернуться, его либо убьют, либо посадят, поэтому он решил остаться здесь. Ты живешь на этом острове 43 года?
No. I've been on other islands, too. I was in Resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was on E48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22 years ago.
Честно говоря, меня немного разочаровывает то, что в итоге убийца оказался абсолютно какой-то левый персонаж, о котором мы ничего вообще не знаем, и который никак не фигурировал всю игру. То есть просто, какой-то загадочный тип на самом деле убийца. Интереснее, когда убийца кто-то из тех, с кем ты вот все это время общался, как убийство в закрытом здании, типа, где мы знаем всех действующих лиц, но мы не можем понять, кто из них убийца, типа. И оказывается, что убийца садовник, там, не знаю, типа владелец гостиницы, там, уборщица. Вот эти вот классические, короче. У нас тоже было достаточно ограниченное пространство, и я думал, что убийца кто-то из тех людей, с кем мы общались все это время, но нет. То есть, еще раз, ты скрывался здесь целых 43 года?
43 years and 10 months.
Это безумие.
It's not how a human being should live. But I had to. I couldn't just forget. I couldn't just forget what I saw.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
Так, это один день. Остальные 43 года, 9 месяцев и 29 дней.
Always waiting. Always.
Чего?
For her to return.
Her who?
Girl, child, revolution.
Может его обнадежить. Все еще может получиться. Подожди еще немножко. Все женщины предательницы. Ну это типа какой-то такой чисто о своем думает. Давай скажем, все женщины предательницы.
Women are more susceptible to bourgeois morals. The material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind and themselves. The historic opportunity for our revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, whatever I do.
Ты сказал, что оставил свое подразделение.
I was just 16 years old. 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. And of courage, too.
Не хватило веры?
You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second, I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took
Для чего?
for reaction to take hold.
Что такое реакция?
Petty bourgeois terror. It's in all men.
И когда именно это случилось?
May the 13th, 08, 44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky, and it looked like it formed the clouds. Storm clouds. When they started shelling, it was dark magic.
Черная магия?
The combined might of international capital. All at once, all the greed and terror in the world tore into Revachol. It lifted streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts. We were in the flak tower. Huddled on the floor. The artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon. But I knew the commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash. So I said I was going to the map room.
A terrible shame, still within him. The lobes of his ears are red with it. The shame and smallness of what he became.
Но ни в какой штаб ты не пошел.
No. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers there, like the weakest of the weak. A mouse, frightened at the ordnance all night, and the sound of the rotors in the morning, whirring.
Что это было такое?
Airships. I climbed out into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. The fortress was half submerged too, shattered. They'd all drowned in the lower levels or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. It was real. I'd seen it. I'd seen it in reality.
Видел что?
The mask of humanity fall from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love. All the hope and tenderness in the world. It has to take it off just for 1 second to do the deed. And then you see it. As it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. You see the fear and power in its eyes. Then you know
Что?
that the bourgeois are not human.
Дать ему договорить.
I had to. I had to fight it. I had to never stop.
Что это за место? Этот остров?
It's not an island, Dwat. It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol. And I am its last surviving defender.
И для чего использовалось это укрепление?
The congenitally deformed King Philip II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend against an airborne landing. Against the whole world.
Ты говоришь о той самой высадке? О возвращении Ревашоля?
Coalition military called it Operation Deathblow. I later found out on the radio they called it Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone.
Во-первых, я не один из них.
Sure you are. You're RCM. Answer me. Who calls an operation against 50 million people Deathblow?
Убийцы. Я понимаю, о чем ты.
You don't know. You haven't seen it. Iblis.
Иблис?
The black-eyed angel.
Shaitan Ahura, the Darkened One.
И как тебе удавалось выжить все это время?
How does anyone survive? I steal.
И что же крал?
Supplies, vegetables. I collect rainwater. It's the life of a dog, not a human being.
How is your health, Mr. Dross?
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like beetroot. Been passing it in stool, too.
The RCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over.
I need to die. You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns.
We also have Druamine.
У нас есть друамин и другие опиоидные анальгетики. У тебя наверняка боли.
I have been running out of that stuff.
Да, я украл у тебя из шкафчика друамин, кстати говоря. Ситуация серьезная. Тебе нужен уход, и мы можем его предоставить.
There's nothing to look over. The triage is in, and it's black. Administer morphine. Moribund.
И как же ты справлялся психологически?
I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years missing. Others filled with pain only. A decade of... I don't even know what. Inferno?
I would imagine it gets tremendously difficult, mentally, to live in isolation.
Traitors. It's better alone. I watch the people of this city turn the lights back on, more and more each year. Ruins, glimmering in the dark, like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting.
Are they not heartbroken? How could they have moved on?
Ну, людям надо как-то жить дальше. Как тебе удавалось скрываться все эти годы?
It was hard in the tens. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. Floodlights on the water at night.
There were posters, campaigns.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Cold City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips had Marsov coursing through their veins. And others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequency's dead.
Как ты перемещался между островом и Большой Землей?
At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
In the city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I just...
Кстати, тайник с оружием под Сен-Гислен 22В. В подвале. Ты там бывал?
So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Belmer Graves, right?
Так и было.
Useless now. Rusted away.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit, even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however.
А под зданием Фельда есть небольшой бункер. Ты там останавливался?
The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. 2 young boys.
Убили себя?
A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground.
Почему бы тебе просто не пойти туда?
I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals.
He does not want to see life moving on. People forgetting, drinking, laughing.
Скажи-ка,
The old man looks across the water, at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it.
ты сказал, что это твоя бессрочная капитуляция.
You're with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol.
Да. Мы не из коалиции, мы не наняты коалицией, мы просто пытаемся помогать людям.
You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International. The enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, le Parti Communiste d'Insolande. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit.
Мне кажется, он умрет, прежде чем мы его посадим. Так ты солдат армии коммунистов?
No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army.
Но ты говорил, что прошел подготовку, и тебя отправили в отряд обороны.
Trained in historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something.
То есть он вообще не был, ну, типа, бойцом. А чем занимается политкомиссар?
The old man does not answer. He tilts his silver head and looks at the reeds. You see a small tremor pass through his legs.
His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follows the ideology of the commune.
Scientific communism. A commissaire politique is a night philosopher of the revolution, a future human.
Awakened from shutdown by the promise of ideology.
Получается, что ты подготовленный коммунист, так?
He nods slowly. Then another tremor.
Промолчим. У меня к тебе еще один серьезный вопрос. Нахера ты убил того типа?
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce.
Нет, пока нет. Пока не то спрашиваем. Шансы низкие, блин. Для чего ты использовал эту винтовку?
I've used it for killing people.
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay. But this is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while. But
Ну что?
this is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin jackpot. The solution. Go in straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now.
Вот это
Slow
вот
and steady does
ёбаное
it.
раздвоение
Make him
личности.
repeat it first.
Говори прямо. Нет, действуй осторожно.
Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
Вот если прямо, то вот это вот. Что, минутку, так что мне сказать?
Nothing comes to you. Silence. His black eyes look at you.
Если говорить прямо, ну то есть... Две личности говорят мне, что не надо говорить прямо. Но слишком заковыристо тоже не стоит. Если говорить прямо, то это вот это вот. Это ты убил того типа. Так. Если прям слишком витиевато, то это вот это, наверное. Внушение говорит мне, что он хочет мне сам рассказать, действуй деликатно. Я знаю, что тебе хочется мне все рассказать. Ты убивал кого-нибудь из этой винтовки последние пару недель?
I don't want to tell you anything, you grotesque murderer.
Внушение, ты меня обманула.
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time.
Да? А нахера ты нужно тогда, блин? Молчи тогда. Ладно, ты хочешь сказать, что продолжал убивать людей после того, как закончились бои. Ну, блядь, естественно, он хочет это сказать. Короче, блядь. Ты использовал это оружие для убийства полковника, сотрудника охранного агентства Кренель.
The who now?
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. Right choice. We're in. Do it, sire.
Уважаемый частной военной компании Кренель. Его звали Элис Кортенар. Он был членом Мартинесского охранного спецотряда.
Oh, yes. That one. Ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him?
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
Мы не такие вот, и не первые, и не вторые.
A drop of blood in the saliva. Exhaust him with proof. Pile it all on him. Get a confession.
Пруфами, говорит его. Пруфами.
The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember.
Блин, да что же я забыл?
Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells
А,
on
точно,
Clausia's
точно.
roof.
Символы революции. Ты говорил мне, Ким, что это вообще никак не связано. О, да!
There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. They're revolutionary symbols from the war. Nowhere else, nowhere in all of Martinez have you seen them.
То есть что, он туда пришел даже, получается?
Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in
точно.
the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now they're gonna come up.
Ну, конечно. Спасибо, голова, спасибо.
You got it. Remember, the boot prints were like no modern soul.
За окном у жертвы были ландыши. Не знаю, тут имеет значение, типа, очередность вот этих всех улик, которые я буду предъявлять ему. Мне не требуется от тебя сотрудничество. У меня есть вот это.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun. Not like your musketeer pistols. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen.
Не соскакивай с темы. У нас на руках орудие убийства.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it?
Объявляю. Мы обнаружили орудие убийства. Не, давай драматическим тоном. Думаешь, мы обнаружили орудие убийства? Не знаю, как это сказать драматически.
4.46 jacketed ammunition, modified for range. We have it. This is it.
А как ты думаешь, Ким, обнаружили ли мы орудие убийства сейчас? Вот так вот, типа. Объявляю, мы обнаружили орудие убийства.
Good. This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
Murder.
This pushed him, but not enough. Just a little more.
Мы провели баллистическую экспертизу. Выстрел был произведен с этого острова.
I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascies. Did you like the view?
You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession. You have been here a long time, Mr. Droz. Too long. You need medical aid.
I'm ready to die. I've done my part.
He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascists for fascists. Done his part.
Вид прекрасный. Или все-таки спросить вот это. Ты сказал Фасков? Он сказал Фашиков, скорее. Странный перевод. Фаск. Может, Фашик по-русски. Ты признаешь, что убил его?
You're sad for your fascia brother, aren't you? One twig got broken. Now the others are sad.
Almost. He almost burst out there. Keep piling arguments. Anything.
Интересно, какой у тебя марки обувь?
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa. Some shit.
Show me the soles, please, Mr. Droz.
Fucking imbecile.
The maker is Sensorique. The model is Corbeil, and the size is 43. These are not the unusual horizontal pattern soles you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
The size fits, but not the sole.
Погоди, все может быть гораздо проще.
Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them. Right now?
Ты мог переобуться. Это вовсе не означает, что ты не обшаривал окрестности рядом с номером, в котором погибла жертва.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your masters? They must have really loved that dead fuck.
The lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance and nods to acknowledge. The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance. You've almost got him. Just a last little push.
Ну и, как финальная вот эта вишенка на торте, за окном-то у жертвы были ландыши.
Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white with them.
He seems tender suddenly, nostalgic even. A strange mood swing.
So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
Нигде во всем Мартинезе их нет, только здесь.
They blossom on the islets before. We fertilize them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May, before they ruined it. The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshops?
I may.
Молодая женщина, Классье, говорит тебе о чем-то это имя? Эти засохшие цветы я нашел у нее под окном.
Classier.
Ты ее знаешь, так ведь? Она состояла в интимных отношениях с жертвой, с наемником.
With the victim. You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood.
Он был убийцей, да, но все же он находился под защитой закона.
Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop eating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
Значит, ты его застрелил?
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you.
Не открывать рот.
I had them in my sights, both of them, him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase, and I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth. I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
Какие подробности.
There, a hot flash of rage almost carries the smile away. Some dark peace.
А потом?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
Yes.
And you were looking at Dan, the victim and a young woman, having sex through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from. You can coax it out of him. The lieutenant's preparing the ground.
Молчи, внушение. Ты же само говоришь, что постоянно меня подводишь.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
Ну, в принципе, а что непонятного? Он же сам сказал. Фашисты, убийцы. Типа он все еще на своей вот этой вот войне. Он все еще готов воевать с ними. И вот предоставилась возможность убить одного из них, почему бы и нет. Хотя, конечно, странно, да, учитывая, что он 40 лет прятался, что вдруг он решил сейчас убить одного. Почему ты наблюдал за ними той ночью?
I'm always looking.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle's scope has the best magnification.
And if you don't like it?
Ты жмешь на спусковой крючок?
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
He will not stop now. These dialectical materialist types never do. Exploit it. You've got him going. Connect every little piece now. Wrap this up like a gift.
Блин, шансы все еще очень низкие. Что именно тебе не понравилось из увиденного в ночь убийства?
Them. Fucking. I didn't like that.
То есть ты приревновал?
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself. Drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
Her body sweating from the drugs, slick from cerebral hemorrhage. He wants to see her covered in blood. To punish her.
Как долго ты наблюдал за ней?
since she came to Martinez. I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the Fell building on the coast? What was she doing there?
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
And beautiful.
Такая красивая, да?
That, too.
How could you see what she looked like? You said it was dark.
The sun came up. Her hair was like cobwebs. She smoked more fags and snorted a line of whatever shit she was on, right there. She needed it just to move.
Что она, по-твоему, там спрятала?
Her passport and tickets to Rivière. And from there to Cachet-Brou.
Какой-то секретный контейнер на побережье? Ты его осмотрел?
Yes, after she'd gone. It was a submersible. Well made, actually.
Sloppy. We should have gotten her to tell us about this. Did you take the documents?
No, I put them back. Why would I take them? I'm not going to phone. Oh, I mean...
Двигаемся дальше. После этого ты продолжил за ней следить, верно?
I did. She had a face like an archipelago, with those birthmarks, and a body hard and lean and bruised all over, black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook, on the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
Неплохое место.
You could tell she was a spook from the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
He's setting it up for you.
Как ты все это разглядел? Синяки, то, что ее избивали.
I'm not blind, am I?
Откуда он в таких подробностях знает о ее теле?
It quickly comes to you.
Эти синяки у нее на теле. Ты случайно рассмотрел их не через дыру в стене?
Oh, yes. Cutting those drugs of hers into little lines with a knife. Masturbating.
Everything in him fills with impossible longing, all at once.
Did you make that hole?
With a clip point knife.
Good for listening in, too, for hearing the moaning and the snorts.
Так ты когда-нибудь видел ее через окно на крыше?
Like that, too? Yes. Bending like a bow against the glass.
Значит, ты бывал в секретном проходе позади танцев в тряпье. Это были твои следы. Ты просто переобулся.
I've been through all of Martinez. Every nook and cranny.
И там тоже.
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You'd turn it on inside, and it'd get so dark out, You can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
Andy found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union Box window.
Значит, у тебя были чувства к этой женщине.
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying?
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know.
Были и другие.
Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something.
Поэтому ты оставил высохшие цветы под ее окном.
No,
Тогда почему?
I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of our room on the floor, like she does sometimes.
Когда это было?
The day after I killed him.
И ты принес ей ландыши?
Yes, I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
Ты хотел ее утешить?
Maybe. I told you, I have holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for you. If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more.
А его ты убил, потому что хотел наказать ее.
She practically breastfed that man. You wouldn't believe the things she let him do to her.
Она заслужила того, чтобы ее хорошенько наказали. Ладно, ладно. Я тоже, кстати, баб ненавижу. Не знаю, стоит ли что-то из этого говорить, конечно. Я не такой, нет, да, конечно. Мужчины просто безумцы. Нет, не знаю, мне эти реплики не нравятся. Промолчать.
The old man raises his gaze. Something glimmers in the corner of his black eye. A bitter taste on his tongue.
Итак, получается, что дело было вовсе не в нем, а в ней.
Her.
You hear a low frequency hiss, barely, beneath the audible spectrum. Then it's gone. The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement.
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days.
Зачем говорить, что мы ее арестовали? Мне хочется сказать ему, что она помогла нам найти это место, но с другой стороны, я могу просто сказать, что типа не твое дело. Мы можем это сказать, в принципе, ладно. Сбежала, но помогла нам найти это место. Она поняла, что из крепости за ней кто-то наблюдает.
Gone. I knew it. She kept staring into the scope this last week at the island, like she knew. She'd look at night, crying or smoking on the roof, staring right into me. It doesn't matter.
He knew she knows. She was looking at the island, figuring it out, day by day, cigarette by cigarette.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
Who knows what he's seen and done over the years? You could get more out of him. He likes talking. Enough. Take him in. Bend his arms behind his back and end this.
Но мы арестовать-то его всегда успеем, он уже признался. Да, только у меня время, блин, опять придется сегодня подольше поиграть. Ладно, а видел ли ты еще что-нибудь, что тебе не нравилось?
A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
А подробнее?
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. Stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst.
Как так?
Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins, in their lorries. Pump full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a Social Democrat who runs it.
Господина Клэра?
Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square, to spit on the working class.
Не перебивать.
Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. Intense, like animals, like those boom-boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
Это все?
The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, the worst is that old cop parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Koyamoran, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children.
промолчать.
That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt Frisell is now dead.
Угу. А теперь... Ладно, просто кивнем.
We did good when we pushed him under that horse car. If only, in the 30s, those disco whores...
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter. There was something about a statue and nihilistic advertising agency people might be worth investigating.
Ты говорил что-то о статуе на перекрестке и сифилисе.
Syphilis is a disease Philip III contracted in a whorehouse. The statue is an abomination.
Мерзость.
The bacteria entered his brain and made him squander trillions on sparkling wine, cocainum, and monuments of himself. His son, Philip IV, the insane, contracted syphilis in the womb. And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. We lost 2 million lives toppling that mode of government. And those grotesque statues, too. Hundreds of them.
Но это на месте.
What a keen remark. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's still there. Do you know why?
Потому что циничные хлыщи и рекламщики возвели разрушенную версию.
That's right. Some advertising cockroaches erected a cynical deconstruction of it. We tore it down with honest working-class plastic explosives. And there it is again. Art is a bourgeois establishment. It's an affront to humanity. Every gallery should be bulldozed, and the artists should all be given 30 years of hard labor in Yekokata.
Ты сказал, что профсоюз социал-демократическая организация, а господин Клэр социал-демократический клоун.
Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat. Placating the masses.
Disappointment, so personal. He displays a familiarity with the union's top brass.
Кто разочаровал тебя? Эврар Клэр?
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation. The smart one.
Кто?
Edgar.
Ты говоришь об Эдгаре? Братья Эврара?
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in Le Jardin, where it's alienation this and hegemony that.
Ты говорил с Эдгаром?
First against the wall with him.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course. Maybe the Clears asked him to. Don't go straight for the kill. Exhaust everything else first. Soften him up.
Ты с ними связывался?
I haven't approached anyone. I've hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains. Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the left, wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things.
Когда это было?
20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then.
That's around the time the Clears came to power.
И о чем вы говорили?
Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted his pink degree. Even quoted Mazov. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Mazov. Oh, and charity, too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought.
И он позволил тебе остаться здесь.
Let me be here. The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Clares understand this.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
Дросс, ты убил наемника компании Кренель по указке Клэров, чтобы спровоцировать беспорядки?
You know why I killed that fucker, Duat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
Okay, he didn't do the hanged man for them, but he's insinuating something.
А под... Логика. Вкачать логику, может. У меня очки появились. Что за дела были между стариком и Эдгаром?
The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water. Dark, cold water.
20 лет назад, когда ты встречался с Эдгаром, семья Клэров еще не руководила профсоюзом, ведь так?
He acknowledges it. Here we go. A twist behind the dark bend.
А кто руководил?
That bourgeois cow. Tiffin Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual cooperation. And money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker.
Кроме того, она была женщиной, так? Как Классия.
She was. And she was real soft on those money men. Had a Barbara Muskova bag over her shoulder that she liked to bring to work.
А потом она просто исчезла.
Called in, they say. On the eve of battle. Ran away. Vanished like a piss stain.
No, that's not quite it, is it?
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her daughter, was it?
No, I guess it was not.
Эдгар попросил кого-то позвонить вместо нее. Почему?
She couldn't make the call herself.
Here it is, the bend in the river. The truth.
Почему?
Because she was dead.
Промолчать.
The cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal grasping her tit and drowned. Or bled? Hard to say. It was a sloppy job. And a moving target. She was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often was. The ruins were black around her, and she had a yellow leather bag under her arm. She tried to cross the canal. Heading home to Grand Couronne or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her, and the ruins.
Ты ее застрелил.
Someone shot her. Or maybe the cow just fell. My memory is full of holes. All I know is... nothing changed. Not in the material base. Not in the hegemony. There was no uprising. Just words. The Union fizzled. Sogged. Nothing came of it. Nothing.
Edgar didn't keep his part of the deal. If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could walk. We would strike everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic.
A degenerate worker state. Goat shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short. I will rot away here, in a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything.
Но ведь ты это сделал.
I saw it happen, and I liked it. That's all I have to say. I didn't live and fight for 40 years to end up as a collaborationist. I've heard it on Channel 8, 40 AM, Radio Revachol, late night. Everyone is a blobber in this world. Everyone betrays everyone. They're all already locked up for betrayal. The best ones, the ones with heart, were slaughtered, trampled.
The same old freezing hatred.
А под петухом в форме ты имеешь в виду Рене.
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That is not a working class game. I don't care what they say on Radio June. Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot's plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A Patank maniac race traitor. I remember him. I remember him from La Noce. Not him, personally. his make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the Liberals came to their rescue. We missed one. That one.
There doesn't seem to be a single person under the pine today. Not even Gaston. Alone.
Fat and plump, like a pheasant, just begging to be popped off. Please, Mr. Dross, shoot me.
Ты хочешь его убить?
Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the trigger. Think about it. Let the bomb melt in my mouth.
A treat. Better served for later. He's a pleasure delayer.
He is a juicy bonbon, that one. A real treat for the black day. The blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think. No, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, René. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him throw those balls, and I suddenly feel better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one for him. Haven't seen him around lately, strutting around. Must be down with arthritis. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood.
Ну, он умер, да?
Hearing it may destabilize him. You sure you've gotten everything from him?
Артрит у него разыгрался серьезно. На этой неделе он играть не будет.
Yes, of course. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood. Must be torture. Not to be throwing his balls for a whole week.
He seems relieved. Could he have been worried for him? He reminds him of himself. The same hatred. The same. You try to think of another thing, but no. It's just the hatred.
Диско шлюхи? Кстати говоря. Что ты говорил про диско шлюх?
Horse.
А это все? Кстати, знаешь, по поводу Рене.
Yes, where is he? I hope he doesn't have debilitating arthritis or kidney stones. He can still come out to play with balls and get shot in the head, right?
Нет. О, Рене мертв. Умер от старости пару дней назад.
No,
Да.
I waited too long. I waited too long and now he's dead?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dross. I understand you knew him for a long time.
They're all dead now. Fuck him.
If he really wanted to kill him so bad, he would have done. There must have been 1,000 black days on these islands. His health ailing.
У тебя было множество шансов убить его.
And I blew them all. What does it matter now? He's gone. Ancient dust.
Ты переживал за него?
All human beings care about each other. I cared for seeing his head explode. And now, God damn this world.
Мне жаль.
Fuck you.
В порядке? Можешь продолжать.
You think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen them do. Fuck and die. All the other plans we had. To love, to colonize the Pale. It's all fucked.
It doesn't look like he is. Okay.
Ну, так, ладно, я рад, что мы это обсудили. А теперь...
Glad we talked about what?
Слушай, уже больше нечего спрашивать. Я снова хочу спросить о людях, которые тебе нравятся, которые тебе не нравятся.
His lip curls into a sneer at the memory.
Тут больше нечего спрашивать. Ладно, погоди-ка.
Glad we talked about what?
Самообладание. Давай попробуем одно вкачать хотя бы. $28. Давай еще одну. $42. Давай еще одну, у меня очки есть пока что. Блин. Давай еще одну, ладно. Последняя. Последняя. Проанализировать язык тела.
What strikes you about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition. For a man who spent 44 years hidden in the urban wild.
Он держится на удивление неплохо.
Indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing complicated ideas. Above all, he seems animated.
Стимулирует что?
It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures,
Наркотики.
thought processes cut off like threads as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. He also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous system. And also flashes of lust, simmering in there. Not too common in people his age.
Похотливость. Разве эти железы не отключаются в таком возрасте?
There is definitely something hormonal there. Whatever the condition he's suffering, there is a sexual element to it.
Деменция?
You've seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid, keen even, not senile. Is this some kind of substance damage? Like he's addicted to something? Not only the painkillers he's clearly on.
Скажи, Дрос, ты принимаешь какие-нибудь психоактивные препараты?
No. I won't be stuffed full of shit like the rest of this city.
You said you take painkillers.
I take them to cope with pain. The people of this city use painkillers because they have pain. Untreated illnesses. Not enough money for a greedy doctor.
He is indeed very lucid at times. It's not a downer, rather an upper, judging by his snaps.
Как насчет пиролидона?
I don't know what that is.
А ты принимаешь амфетамины?
Like some kind of decadent rock star.
Ты вообще в порядке? Память не подводит?
No, I'm not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded by insane people.
There it is again. Erratic hand motions, bouts of rage, and the stomach thing too, of course. Could it be a symptom of overdosing on something? Something even you have not tried? Keep your eyes peeled.
Но я могу сдержать его чуть подольше. Ой, чуть попозже. Пока что это все, старик, сиди здесь.
I ain't going anywhere.
Так. Я это сделал, чтобы мы могли сохраниться и закончить на сегодня, потому что это пока еще не конец игры явно. Тут еще будет, я думаю, много разговоров. Хотя мы близки, мы близки. Вот где этот Гэри криптофашист? На карте он как будто бы вообще в этой части острова. А не в той, где он... Не там, где отели. Это какая-то ошибка? Или он реально где-то здесь обитает? Ладно, в общем, я просто хотел сохраниться и закончить сегодня на сегодня на этом, потому что мы и так долго играем, мне пора спать. Все мои диалоги с ним прошли, мне осталось предъявить ему, ну, типа, задержать его. Там, наверное, будет, может, кат-сцена какая-нибудь. Вполне возможно. Так что потом там еще разговоры, еще. Я думаю, еще как минимум один стрим у нас получится, а может и не один. Вот. Поэтому я все-таки думаю, что тут больше, чем на полчаса еще контента, поэтому мы прервемся сегодня на этом и продолжим в следующем стриме. И там уже, в общем, как я и сказал, может быть уже будет финал, а может быть и нет. Если мне дадут еще походить, я еще попробую, может быть, что-то дорешать, еще какие-то квесты. Если нет, так нет. Вот. Ну, мы уже прям супер близки к финалу, мы нашли убийцу. В общем, пишите комментарии. И двигаемся к финалу в следующий раз. Всем пока.